Good evening and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with News Tonight. Before we go over to the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all of its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks and wear them properly, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these very simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the ongoing pandemic. And now over to the top stories of the day. Prime Minister Modi calls Atmanirbhar India campaign the path to world welfare and prosperity. Addressing the centenary celebrations of Vishwa Bharati University, the Prime Minister calls upon the youth to promote vocal for local efforts. On Good Governance Day, Prime Minister Modi to release next installment of Pradhanmantri Kisan Sammaniti, more than 9 crore farmers' families to benefit. A delegation of farmers meets Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, extending support to the new agricultural laws. The government writes to the protesting farmers for next round of talks. Parliamentary Standing Committee submits report on Olympic preparations to Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. Panel suggests several measures to assist the athletes. And national COVID recovery rate rises to 95.75%. The number of active cases in proportion to total cases falls to 2.8%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the centenary celebrations of Vishwa Bharati University, Shanti Niketan on Thursday via video conferencing. And speaking on the occasion, he lauded the pivotal role played by Vishwa Bharati University in India's freedom movement, as well as furthering the cause of universal brotherhood. He called Vishwa Bharati's 100-year journey a very special one and a matter of huge pride for every Indian. Here's a report. Addressing the centenary celebrations of the university founded by Rabindranath Tagore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Tagore's vision is the essence of the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission for empowerment of India and the world. He said Gurudev wanted the world to benefit from what is best in India, and India should learn from the good things of the world.
गुरुदेव सर्वसमावेशी और सर्वस्पर्शी सह अस्तित्व और सहयोग के माध्यम से मानव कल्याण के बृहद लक्ष्य को लेकर चल रहे थे। विश्व भारती के लिए गुरुदेव का यही विजन आत्मनिर्भर भारत का भी सार है। आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान भी विश्व कल्याण के लिए भारत के कल्याण का मार्ग है।
The Prime Minister remarked that India is leading the world in environmental protection through the International Solar Alliance. He said India is the only major country on the right path to achieve the environmental goals of the Paris Accord.
हमारा देश विश्व भारती से निकले संदेश को पूरे विश्व तक पहुंचा रहा है। भारत आज इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस के माध्यम से पर्यावरण संरक्षण के विषय में विश्व के अंदर एक बहुत बड़ी अहम भूमिका निभा रहा है। भारत आज पूरे विश्व में इकलौता बड़ा देश है जो पेरिस एकॉर्ड के पर्यावरण के लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने के लिए सही मार्ग पर तेज गति से आगे बढ़ रहा है।
Prime Minister Modi also spoke about the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat and how students of the Vishwa Bharati University should utilize social media to help local artists in selling their products and thus achieve the goal of vocal for local. He concluded his virtual speech with Tagore's poem, and asked students of the university to open the doors of new possibilities and carry forward Gurudev's idea of knowledge and philosophy of life.
वर्ष 2022 में देश की स्वतंत्रता के 75 वर्ष पूरे होने जा रहे हैं। विश्व भारती की स्थापना के 27 वर्ष बाद भारत आजाद हो गया था। अब से 27 वर्ष बाद भारत अपनी आजादी के 100 वर्ष का पर्व मनाएगा। हमें नए लक्ष्य गढ़ने होंगे, नई ऊर्जा जुटानी होगी, नए तरीके से अपनी यात्रा शुरू करनी होगी और इस यात्रा में हमारा मार्गदर्शन कोई और नहीं बल्कि गुरुदेव की ही बातें करेंगी।
Founded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in 1921, Vishwa Bharati was declared a central university and an institution of national importance in May 1951. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release the next installment of Pradhanmantri Kisan Sammaniti on Friday. It's going to benefit more than 9 crore farmers' families. With the push of a button, the Prime Minister will enable the transfer of over 18,000 crore rupees. He will also interact with farmers from 6 different states during the event. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar will also be present on the occasion. Under the Pradhanmantri Kisan scheme, a financial benefit of 6,000 rupees per year is provided to small and marginal farmers, payable in 3 equal 4 monthly installments of 2,000 rupees each. The fund is transferred directly to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. And the government on Thursday once again invited the farmers' unions for the next round of talks over the new agricultural laws. Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Vivek Agrawal, sent a letter to the farmer unions, wherein he stated that the government is ready to discuss all issues regarding the new laws. The letter reiterated the government's commitment to reach logical solutions to all the issues that have been raised by the protesting farmers. It has also asked them to decide the date and time for the next round of talks. And a delegation of farmers belonging to the Kisan Mazdoor Sangh, Bagpat, met Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in New Delhi on Thursday, extending their support to the 3 farm laws. After the meeting, the Agriculture Minister informed that the farmers from Bagpat have urged the government not to buckle under any kind of pressure and make amendments to the 3 farm laws. The delegation, in fact, also submitted a letter to the government extending their support to the laws. A 21-member delegation of Kisan Sena also held a discussion on supporting the centre's 3 farm laws with Agriculture Minister in New Delhi.
जीवन में खुशहाली आएगी। मैं इस अवसर पर किसान मजदूर संगठन के सभी पदाधिकारी कार्यकर्ता सबका हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार प्रकट करता हूं और उन्हें इस समर्थन के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं।
The Agriculture Minister also criticized the Congress delegation led by Rahul Gandhi over their meeting with President Ramnath Kovind against the 3 farm laws. Listening.
राहुल गांधी को इतनी किसानों की चिंता थी तो जब उनकी सरकार थी तो सरकार के माध्यम से कुछ न कुछ किसानों के लिए कर सकते थे। कांग्रेस का हमेशा से चरित्र किसान विरोधी रहा है। दूसरा, ये तीनों बिल के बारे में 2019 के घोषणा पत्र में राहुल गांधी ने कहा था कि हम सरकार में आएंगे तो एपीएमसी को खत्म करेंगे, बिना टैक्स के किसान की फसल की खरीद फरोख्त हो ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग को बढ़ावा दिया जाएगा और एसेंशियल कमोडिटी एक्ट को समाप्त करके उसको नया बनाया जाएगा। अब मैं राहुल गांधी जी को कहना चाहता हूं कि 2019 में आपने जब अपना घोषणा पत्र जारी किया उस समय आप झूठ बोल रहे थे या आप आज झूठ बोल रहे हो, ये कांग्रेस को स्पष्ट करना चाहिए।
Earlier in the day, a Congress delegation led by Rahul Gandhi, including leaders Ghulam Nabi Azad and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, met President Ramnath Kovind over the 3 farm laws at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Addressing the media, Rahul Gandhi said the government should consider the concerns of the protesting farmers. The department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women and Children and Youth and Sports presented a report on preparation for Olympics 2021 to Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday. After exhaustive deliberations with all the concerned stakeholders, the committee made important recommendations. Here's a detailed report on that. Chairman of the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women and Children and Youth and Sports, Dr. Vanessa Budhi, presented a report on preparation for Olympics 2021 to Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday.
That this committee dealing with education, sports, youth and women, all important aspects, has gone through these issues and they made specific recommendations including actionable points for immediate and also long term. I'm happy to receive the report. I would like to compliment the chairman, Sri Vanessa Budhi, the members, and also Sri Jyotiraditya, who is the chairman of the subcommittee.
For post-COVID recovery, the panel recommended making it mandatory for athletes to undergo in-depth cardiopulmonary function tests to monitor recovery to top fitness level. Athletes as well as coaches and support staff should be put in the priority group for the vaccination process. The panel recommended biobubbles in training facilities to isolate athletes in a secure environment and train with minimal possibility of being infected. It also suggested that the government should make speedy decisions and grant approvals, financial grants, equipment and representation in international competitions to avoid unnecessary delays.
Keeping in view of the fact that only a few months are remaining for the Tokyo Olympic, the committee has drafted a very crisp report focusing on the issues that need immediate attention and are critical for the success of the Indian sportspersons. The 318th report and the 319th report are action-taken reports also pertaining to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. In the particular report, in different 11 sections, we have given 48 very specific recommendations on actionable points on which we believe that the ministry can immediately think about and take necessary actions.
The panel said the appointment of a Chief Procurement Officer in the Mission Olympic Cell under the chairmanship of the Director General Sports Authority as part of the Olympics Podium Scheme will ensure coordination and fast-track procurement of training equipment. Medical staff and other medical equipment should be made available within select SAI and other training centers. Women should be encouraged to take part in as many sporting events as possible so that at least 50% of the Olympic contingent consists of women. The committee recommended undertaking a National Olympic Scholarship Program in a phased manner. It must guarantee minimum but fixed financial aid to every athlete who does well at the national level. This funding needs to be scaled up as athletes begin to compete at the world stage. In the identified priority and high priority sports by the ministry, the focus should be on talent spotting from the bottom up, from the panchayats, blocks and districts. Talent should be spotted from the school levels and nurtured to the Olympics level.
We put very crisp, clear steps that need to be taken. 10 steps. The first deals with the recovery from the COVID impact and how to train our athletes for the current Olympics. The second deals with institutional support. The third deals with human resource and technical support for our athletes. The fourth deals with the key issue of medical assistance as well as doping, because the doping laws have been enhanced tremendously.
The ministry must place before the Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports a formula at the earliest for ensuring financial security for medal-winning athletes and their coaches during and post their sports careers. The ministry also must formulate such a formula based on the sportsperson and coach's contribution to the flag for the sports. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Speaking to Rajya Sabha TV, the chairman of the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women and Children and Youth and Sports, Dr. Vanessa Budhi, said that the panel will soon meet the Youth Affairs and Sports Minister regarding the implementation of the recommendations made by the panel.
And joining us is the chairman of Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports, Dr. Vanessa Budhi. Sir, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You've presented a very important report to Chairman of Rajya Sabha, M. Venkaiah Naidu, today through a virtual mode. Tell us about the key observations of this committee.
Well, basically, the committee deliberated upon the preparedness of Indian contingent sports persons for the Olympic, which is happening at Tokyo in maybe June or July next year. So, considering that the time span is limited and we have to work overtime, but what exactly is required to be done? We tried to first of all understand through various federations, then ministry officials, then former medal winners also, Olympians, and sports journalists, senior sports journalists, or those who are kind of experts in sports-related issues. So all of them we consulted in 4 long meetings and thereafter formed a subcommittee. The subcommittee prepared the draft report, and I must say that this is perhaps one of the crispiest reports because we have focused on different 9 aspects of preparedness and given some 48 suggestions. And one of the important recommendations are reopening the remaining training centers and stadia for athletes because they were closed due to the COVID. We are also suggesting sending athletes and or holding international national competitions to make up for the loss of exposure due to pandemic so that in a shorter span we can prepare. The bio-bubbles required to be created so that our sports persons can go to certain foreign countries and they also can come over here. So some kind of practice matches or tournaments or competitions can happen. A 200-day plan with every day some kind of an action which is mentioned requires to be prepared to fine-tune our preparedness. And we have also pointed out that there are certain vacancies of coaches in the Sports Authority of India. They need to be filled in a shortest possible span of time so that proper guidance is given to all our sports persons. We have also given some suggestions about the health-related issues or about the NADA, National Anti-Doping Agency, how it can independently work more effectively, and its autonomy is going to be eventually helping us to fine-tune our preparedness. Our strongest recommendations is about the financial aid. We have suggested that financial security, life insurance and health insurance should be provided to all the Olympians, not only the contingent which we are preparing, but even the former Olympians required to be given this because in case of any adverse conditions being faced by them.
Rajya Sabha Secretary General Deepak Verma also participated in the deliberations of the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports on the preparation for Olympics 2021. Speaking to Rajya Sabha TV, he shared his views on the preparations for the Olympics as he had earlier served as Director General of Sports Authority of India. Listening. Joining us is the Secretary General of Rajya Sabha, Mr. Deepak Verma. Mr. Verma, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
So
you.
it was a very important day. So it was a very important day as the committee, the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women and Children and also Sports and Youth presented a report to Chairman on preparation for Olympics 2021. Now I remember it was a rare occasion when any of the department-related Parliamentary Standing Committees invited Secretary General of Rajya Sabha to give his views. You were there. How was the experience?
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. I have been attending the parliamentary committee meetings at times just to apprise myself and keep abreast of the latest developments in different sectors, especially the ones in which I have worked as an IAS officer, as in my bureaucratic avatar. So I just went for that sports. I was pleasantly surprised when the chairman asked me to share my views and give my experiences in that. So it was interesting, and I could, in fact, I benefited a lot. I don't know whether they could find any sense in what I was saying, but I personally benefited a lot from what was being discussed in that meeting.
So also, India recorded the highest tally of 6 medals at the Olympics. I remember it was one of your bureaucratic assignments then when you were DG of Sports Authority of India. How was the experience then?
And I am very proud, and I think much less to my credit, but of course to the credit of the people who were working, that year India got the highest number of medals so far in the entire history, and the medals tally was 6 as compared to 3 in the last Olympics in 2008, and subsequently also it was 2. So I am very proud of that fact, but as they say that lots of people contribute to the management, and much more the athletes, the players, and the entire credit goes to them because they make India proud, and I hope that they will continue to do so in future as well.
In some other news, Union Minister for Road Transport, Highways and MSMEs, Nitin Gadkari, inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for 18 highway projects in Rajasthan through video conferencing. The virtual function was attended by Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat and other union ministers from the state. 11 projects with a total length of 821 kilometers, costing 6,427 crore rupees were inaugurated, while foundation stone of 7 projects with a length of 305 kilometers were also laid. These projects will be built at a cost of 1,913 crore rupees. These projects will boost tourism in the state, reduce accidents and also provide better connectivity. And speaking on the occasion, Nitin Gadkari said that 52 projects worth 30,000 crore rupees have been completed by the Ministry of Roads and Highways in the last 6 years.
राजस्थान के विकास में 3 महत्वपूर्ण बातें, 3 ग्रीन एक्सप्रेस हाईवे हम बना रहे हैं। ये एक्सप्रेस हाईवे राजस्थान के विकास में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होंगे। इसमें से दिल्ली मुंबई एक्सप्रेस हाईवे जो है 8 लेन पहले फेज में बना रहे हैं, 12 लेन के लिए हमने हमारा प्लान है। ये दिल्ली से मुंबई 12 घंटे में होगा और मुंबई और दिल्ली के बीच राजस्थान के साथ इसका बहुत बड़ा विकास होगा।
India and China are set to hold the 9th round of senior commanders meeting to resolve the disputes regarding the line of actual control. This was decided in the last meeting of India-China Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on the 18th of December. MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said on Thursday that the motto is to permanently disengage from the line of actual control. The armies of both India and China are near the LAC for quite some time, and both countries are engaged diplomatically and militarily to de-escalate.
India and China continue to maintain communication through diplomatic and military channels. These discussions have helped both sides to enhance understanding of each other's positions. As you are aware, a meeting of the WMCC on India-China border affairs took place on the 18th of December. And the two sides have agreed that the next, which is the 9th round of senior commanders meeting, should be held at an early date so that both sides can work towards an early and complete disengagement of troops along the LAC in accordance with the existing bilateral agreements and protocols, and fully restore peace and tranquility.
India has said that Afghanistan will be included in the India-Iran-Uzbekistan trilateral meeting on the Chabahar port. MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said on Thursday that Afghanistan is a major stakeholder in the Chabahar port and therefore its partnership is necessary. India will host the next trilateral, that is for boosting connectivity between India and Central Asian countries through the Chabahar port. Afghanistan has received a large consignment of goods and food grains in the past through this route, and it can be extended further to other Central Asian countries as well.
The first trilateral working group meeting between the three countries on the Sabha port, which was held virtually on the 14th of December. This meeting was held at the deputy ministerial level. Now, as for the next meeting, what I can tell you is that India will be hosting this meeting. Dates are yet to be finalized. And Afghanistan, as a major stakeholder, will be invited for this meeting.
The director of the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Dr. Rakesh Mishra, met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in Hyderabad on Thursday. He briefed the Vice President about the new strains of the SARS-CoV-2 found in the United Kingdom and also in South Africa recently. He apprised the Vice President that the mutations in the new strains are less likely to change the efficacy of the vaccines which are under development. He also informed that there is no evidence that suggests the strains could cause worse outcomes for the patients. The CCMB director also told the Vice President that investigations are underway to find out whether the new strains are present in India. During the presentation, he said that the new strain was 71% more infectious than the other strains. He also informed that a parallel strain identified in South Africa suggests that it affects younger people more, though more thorough research is required on this aspect. He also told the Vice President that CCMB's dry swab direct RT-PCR method has been approved by ICMR. And a look now at the COVID-19 situation in the country. 24,712 new daily cases were reported across the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total tally to over 1.01 crore. India's active caseload remained below 3 lakh for the third day in a row. It accounts for only 2.8% of the total positive cases from across the country. With 29,791 new recoveries reported in the same period, India continues to report more daily recoveries than the daily new cases. The total number of recoveries have crossed 96,93,000. The national recovery rate has further improved to 95.75%. Also, with 312 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours, the country's death toll due to COVID-19 stands at 1,46,756. The COVID-19 case fatality rate stands at 1.45%. Talking about the tests, the total number of tests conducted across the country have crossed 16.53 crore, with over 10,39,000 tests conducted just in the past 24 hours. Among states, Kerala continues to report the highest daily cases at 6,169, which is a surge. It is followed by Maharashtra with 3,913 new cases. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties at 93. West Bengal and Kerala reported 34 and 22 daily deaths respectively. The EU and the UK on Thursday reached a post-Brexit trade deal, ending months of disagreements just days before the 31st December deadline. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said it was a fair and a balanced deal. Listen in.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. So we have finally found an agreement. It was a long and winding road, but we have got a good deal to show for it. It is fair, it is a balanced deal, and it is the right and responsible thing to do for both sides.
So that's it from us in this bulletin. But before we leave, we once again appeal and urge all our viewers to stay safe from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing when you step outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes from your end to defeat the pandemic. Good night, and thank you very much for your time.
Watch the big picture.